It's the time of the night where we get to the Hume Footy League report. Phil Bouffler is with me. G'day, Phil. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, Wayne. I've had a bit of a quiet week. I've got the old change of season lurgy bit this week, so I haven't been great, but I'm sort of coming good a little bit now.
Oh, glad you are. I've had it also, the laryngitis. I was actually screaming at the umpires a bit too much last Sunday. I'll tell you what, I was giving applause and praise to a bloke who started his junior footy career at Henty and played some footy over at the GGGM Lions at Ganmain. A bloke called Nick Murray playing for the Adelaide Crows. He was magnificent.
Very good player. Good family too. I'm not sure if I've got time for a quick story about this, but it's quite a funny story. So
Yeah.
I was playing in the Lockhart at full back, so I played on his father, Pete, who was a very good player. Anyway, we played down at Ginger at the stone. We didn't have a very good side at the time, so we were getting hammered. And anyway, so Pete kicked 10 goals. Yes. Anyway, after the game, they're doing the awards, and anyway, I ended up winning the mark.
Oh.
Anyway, much to the amusement of my fellow teammates. So anyway, one of them, smart asses, said to the coach, "What's to go here? And how can you give the best player award to someone who kicked 10 goals?" And he turned around and said, "If you'd have played, I'd have been to kick 30.
Yes, lovely. Very well said. Phil Bouffler, the fullback, the Lockhart, legendary president of the Hume Football League. It's good to have you on, and a good story too. And Murray, a very good player. Dad Peter, looks like come from pretty good stock. Hey, tell me the games last week in round 7, talking about coming from good stock. How long? They've certainly showed that they are going to be formidable. 14-15, Carl Cam, 7-1, just the 8 scoring shots. A big win here for the Spiders.
Good win to the Spiders. They're just coming good at the right time, sort of, just moving along halfway through the season. They're going along nicely. Great kicking was Cole Cam's forte, really. So, 7-1, I think they kicked. So, wasn't a lot of goals, but they were very accurate at least. So, and they got some good players all over the field at Howlong, so that was a great win.
Yeah, beautifully done. Hey, Osborne, 19-21, 135. They absolutely poleaxed the CDHBU at Kareem, 5-4-34. Is it worth saying that the Power have hit, a switch that's gone out?
They might have switched across to the new renewable system, I think. They might have turned off the coal-fired power station. There's a sort of a tiered draw a little bit. So, that CDHBU had some easier games earlier on, but now they're moving into the second half where they play some of the better sides. So, it just gives us more of a feel of where people are. So, they've got a little bit of work to do out there still, but they're just a good side, Osborne. They just tick along. Every week there's a few suspects pop up, but all the regulars are there playing well every week. And if someone doesn't play well, someone else just steps up. They're incredible, really.
Oh, yeah, and their goal-kicking depth is what I keep saying every week. Macaulay Armstrong, Connor Galvin, both 3, and then 2 each, Deck Galvin, Bailey McAllister, and Hayden O'Connell and Riley Watson. And on the other side of the ledger, just a struggle up forward. Alex Wallace was in it when he could be. And it was a very interesting performance here for Holbrook, 17-10. It was a good away win over Lockhart, 6-10. And again, I think Lockhart might have also had the same problem here as the Power, starting to meet some really good sides.
That's the problem. So Lockhart are still big improvers, but they're playing well each week and they're just going along. So, this is as I said earlier in the season, this is the building season for them. So they're certainly not disgraced. They had the big reunion of the 2003 Premiership and the A-grade Netball Premiership reunion last weekend, so that was great from all reports. I saw a very good video someone put together on YouTube, and it was very well done. So whoever did that from Lockhart, well done. It was great. A bit of a final series, so that was really good. But, Holbrook are too strong. They're a good side. Yeah,
they are. And I'll tell you what, talking about Peter Murray and your great career at the Lockhart boys, Phil Gindera, 14-10-94, too good for Henty, the side that young Nick Murray, the Adelaide Crow backman, played for as a junior. 7-5-47. It was a 7-goal win to Gindera over Henty. And Henty, I think, now out of finals contention. Are you prepared to call it?
Would make it hard. Once again, Carstens bobs up with his 4 or 5 every week as a minimum sort of thing. So, but they're a good side, Gindera too. So there's a sort of few of these sides starting to come to the fore a little bit. So interesting. I think Lockhart play Gindera this week, so it'll be an interesting game. But Henty were just a little bit outclassed on the day.
Certainly were. I'll tell you what, who was outclassed, the poor old Murray Magpies. They've been competitive in many games, but this time they just have got nothing. Brock Burham, 29-20. The Murray Magpies in senior footy, 0 goals, 0.
Yeah, it's not a great look, but once again, as I say, every week they're trying and you can't fault their endeavour, so they're just short of players. And I just keep harping back to this one point. If you don't have juniors, you don't have a chance of you've got to develop your own juniors and all these one-pointers, so that's where it comes from. So, they're going to have to get a 14 side next year. It's probably as simple as that. They really need to get on with this. The sort of the league supports and what they're doing. There's a bit of an open the board last week, so we're certainly supporting their endeavours. We need a side in Albury, but, let's hope that they get up there and get some 14s happening.
Yeah, certainly is. Keith Talent with 5, Mason Hamilton 4, 3 each to Bolton, Cook, Eastwick. They had winners all over the ground, as you do when you kick a cricket score. The other side doesn't get on the score sheet. Warrnambool Waller got on the score sheet, 13-11-89 at home at those brand new netball courts. They beat the Billabong Crow boys and the girls, I think, 2-7-7-49. How did the netty go, by the way?
They're wider. They look unbelievable, so it's a great effort. I was down there for the official opening. They had about 12:30. And it's just a credit to everyone who was involved in that. So once again, it's just another piece of infrastructure in our league, but more importantly, our sort of base for finals. So they just look unbelievable. So well done, Sue Collins and all the ones who are down there who got organised about all this. It was just a fantastic day to see that. Getting back to the footy, the Billabong Crows were disappointing, Wayne. I was disappointed. I thought they would have put up a little bit better showing, but they weren't good enough.
Yeah, they've had a couple of weeks where we've thought they just might be able to take it to a couple of the sides above them and really put their hand up for that 6th spot on the ladder, but it hasn't been their day. Logan Kerr and Zach Kerr are good players. They have some hard tries out of defence. They defend well. Connor Hargraves even got in amongst it with 3, and Dylan Fagan has been very good up forward this year with 2 for them. But Duck, Thomas, Lieski, the 2 boys, Brian and Daniel, just too good, and in the end, 4 to Nathan Wardius. They couldn't control his supply, and it was game over for the Billabong Crows. This week's matches, round 8, and it is before we get the mid-season break. Osborne take on Culcairn at the Canola Growers. It is going to be a big game for Osborne. I think they'll win it and win it very well.
Yeah, they'll win that easily, Wayne, out at headquarters. So they're playing well. They just do what they need to do in some respects, but I just think they'll be too strong.
Magnificent side that they are. And Billabong Crows play CDHBU. It is the showdown of the Hume Football League. It's the one the Crows have really got to show now. This is it. At home at Urana. You got to drive it from across that aquatic reserve there. You've got that magnificent spider sitting up there on the sale yards. It's time now for all the party tricks to be finished. It's Billabong Crows' time to stand up to the power and beat the Corrine boys. But I think Corrine have got too many on the park and might bounce back.
Mate, I reckon they found a switch for the coal-fired power plant out there, and I reckon they're back this week for power. I've seen both sides play, and it's a little bit like a horse race. You can only go on form, and I think that the CDHBU are probably a little bit better side at this stage.
And Gindera play Lockhart. I think probably similarly that the Lockhart boys are meeting some good sides, and if Gindera want to play finals footy, they need to win these games. And Bulldogs at home.
Yeah, I think so too, Wayne. I might probably try and get to this game. I'm just tossing up between a couple. So, that'll be Gindera will be too strong there. Castles will be a handful.
I'll tell you what, if you get to this game, you'll be at the Gindera Bakery. I know why you're wanting to get down there, Phil Bouffler.
That could be a possibility, Wayne.
Yeah, distinct one, I think. Holbrook take on the Murray Magpies. I don't want to know the score.
That might be one of those look-away moments. So I'm just not sure. Obviously, I keep saying that Magpies are trying, and, you can't fault their endeavour. But Holbrook will be too strong by a mile.
And how long play Henty at Spider Park? Look, Henty have been a little bit disappointing this year, and I think the Spiders might nail them pretty well here.
Yeah, Howland will be too strong. They've got too many good players all over the field. Got a couple of coming back in, and they'll be far too strong.
Okay, the kiss of death from Wayne was 3 weeks ago when he said Brock Burham had it. Well, since then they've been winners, and at Burham Buddock, if they get over one of their arch rivals, Warrnambool Waller, this could be that the boys from the Saints are going to start mounting a challenge for the 6. And I've tipped them to win this weekend.
Well, Wayne, you jumped off and you're back on. So this is probably, I reckon, the match of the round, really. So this is going to be pretty close. That Brock Burham seniors, the Saints have improved a lot, and the Giants are playing well, so I think this will be a very good game. This will give us a bit of a feel about how much Brock Burham have actually improved and where the Giants are going. So this is another game I could possibly go to. So I've actually got a function in Albury on Saturday night, so I'm sort of going to head down that way a little bit. So it'll either be Burham or Gindera, so one of the two. Yeah, this is a bit tricky, this one.
Yeah.
I reckon I'll give the Giants a go here. I think they played well last week, so if they turn up with their A-grade game, I think they might be just a little bit strong.
All right, it's a big weekend. I better leave you to get back to your memories of Peter Murray and that elite mug that you have on the shelf for having 10 goals kicked on you, Phil Bouffler.
That's it. Very few people could lay claim to that. And I remember in Lockhart, probably 5-6 years ago, a bloke came up and said, "I was just talking to a bloke who told me that story. That couldn't possibly be true, isn't it?" I said, "Yep, it's true." Yeah, that's quite amusing. So anyway.
I love the stories. And great to talk too on what's happening around in Hume football. It is Phil Bouffler's report here on our Friday night sports show. Catch up with you next week.
Right, mate. Thanks, Wayne.